Hi, good morning. Hello. Just starting a small video on or a small tutorial on the tips that you should follow when buying a used apartment. This is a real estate tip. So, what sort of things you should consider when buying a used apartment in Mumbai? Uh, Especially in anywhere actually, in not only in Mumbai, anywhere in India or abroad. So there are various things you should consider when buying a used apartment, a second-hand apartment, because a lot of amount or a lot of money that you are spending in buying that flat, and not only money, it's your whole life saving that you're spending in buying that flat. So you should consider, you should be very careful when you buy that flat. uh, what we did was I was very small when we bought a used apartment, so I didn't have any much say, but we purchased a good apartment which was very well furnished, but there were some lot of other drawbacks. So I am trying to list down what are the various things one should consider when buying a used apartment. So the very first thing is, if you're commuting by public transport, it should be accessible to various modes of public transport. It should have a railway station close to railway station, bus stops, metro, and accessibility should be there in that location, in the apartment that you're buying. So that's the very first thing. Then the various items for uh, various things to purchase, like vegetable vendors and all, should be close by as well. That is the second thing. Or daily accessibility things available, like doctors, vegetable markets, or vegetable markets, or other things. Are they close by, or they are not? uh, then uh, So accessibility, availability of hospitals, doctors, and general stores should is a must, so that either you or your parents or whoever needs it could just walk by, close by, and buy whatever they need. And then there are things like how the area is in general. One is the locality, like, okay, it's a well-known locality, or it's a not so well-known locality. If it's a well-known locality, then the resale price or the apartment can be easily resold. Like for example, we moved on to Bandra Khar locality, which was famous for Bollywood stars and all. So it was ideally it could be resold. At least it could possibly be resold easily at that time, uh, because it has a big name. So resale value should be considered. The locality should be considered when buying, along with accessibility and other necessities. And then you should consider where the general map or the general location, uh, where your apartment is. You should consider, before buying, you should see the municipal map of Google map of that place, where exactly is that apartment. You should possibly see the surroundings around it. Are there any slums? Are there not any slums? Are there societies around it, or are there slums? It's surrounded by slums, because this is Bombay. Bombay is surrounded by slums everywhere. So ideally, you should take a place which is not very close to slums or any such establishments which would possibly cause a hindrance or nuisance to you in the future. So that is a major thing when especially buying a used apartment in Bombay. You should consider that there should be no slums around it, uh, which is difficult. Like in today's day, Bombay has a lot of places which a lot of slums are there in Bombay. So which is difficult to not have slums or such things. They say 30-40% of Mumbai is slums. So but at least you should make sure the adjoining apartments are safe. They are nice apartments. They should not be slums, or there should not be any other activities. So when we wanted to, I mean, I was quite small, so I did not consider it. But now I see there's a railway track just adjoining my apartment. Not my one. I mean, it's just close by. It's very close to Indian Railway tracks. Then there's a BMC, and their government office is just next to another. So that is another thing you should consider. So that basically should not be any nuisances around that. And then there are slums in the. I mean, anyways, you should. That's a separate thing. So you should consider slums and adjoining buildings or apartments which are there. Then you should see where you're moving and how the people are living in the society or the apartment. How are your neighbors? Uh, how are the people living in the society? Are they friendly enough, or are they friendly? Are they full families, or they are broken families? Because if the if where you're staying, they are broken families. That means there's a demonic influence in that society, that place itself. Uh, so no matter what good things you take or what good things you have for yourself, the demonic influences will keep on influencing you. So there should be the place should not have any demonic influences, and the sign of demonic influences, broken families, or people abusing and fighting people. So that's a sign of broken families and demonic. That's a sign of demonic influences. So you should make sure that the place where you're living does not have demonic influences. I mean, it is difficult to find out, but that you will know only once you stay. So so basically, the people who are staying should be happy and settled. By having cars is not happiness today. Every Tom and Dick and Harry can have a car these days. It doesn't matter. Car has become a status symbol in India or in Bombay. Uh, so having a car does not mean it's a settled society, or everybody is good, or people are not uh, people are not causing trouble. In fact, people get cars and get free parkings in the buildings and just cause nuisance. So, anyways, you should see that if your neighbors are actually settled, or the place where you are living are happy, people are happy, and they are not frustrated, and infighting is not there. So, which is difficult to find out. And it is difficult to also have such people, such societies in these days in Bombay, with the amount of black money and prevailing black money in the city. So it is not easy to find such places which lack uh, which lack demonic influences. But this is one important factor to consider. And so then other thing is, other people living mostly of cosmopolitan nature, or they belong to one dialect or one source of income, or their source of income is one city, one country, or or a particular dialect, or a particular uh, class of people. For example, retailers, or traders, or any one class of people are there, staying in the apartments in the society. So that is another important thing, because if there is one particular class of if the apartment is influenced by one particular country, or a few countries, uh, then it is like, if you don't belong to that category, on you, then you could possibly be a scapegoat, especially considering uh, uh, the amount of Gulf influence that has happened in some parts of Mumbai in the last 20-30 years. So there should not be any association of uh, 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 a particular dialect, or a particular uh, group of people. Uh, so this is another thing, and of course, legal, all the documentation should be legally clear, and the title of the flat should be clear, and the stamp duties, previous or current, should be pay. Current, of course, you would pay, and previous title should be clear. So of course, if the properties were in 70s, 80s, at that time, not a lot of people used to go and register, because it was not a uh, not a not all everybody used to register. But yeah, it should you should make sure that the title is clear. Even if it is not clear, then if the stamp duties are not paid, doesn't mean that your title is not clear. It means that basically you have the right to sue the society and the previous owners, and to make to I mean, you have the possibility to do that if there's some stamp duty is not paid or something like that. So your title still stands clear if the society is if the apartment has been if your apartment has all clear titles and uh, uh, documentation is clear and done properly. If not, then there are always legal ways how you could uh, make sure that it is clear. Because this is not, if it is not clear, then unnecessary people will try to be heroes, and then they'll try to influence or scare you about it. So having a clear document title is the legal title is the is a very must have. And then other things like are there any commercial shops or activities in the society around the places? Because if it's a residential place, it's better that there are no commercial activities or shops around in the society, in the place where you're living, because it causes a lot of nuisances, especially if like where we are staying, it came out to be a lot of hotel industry or food industry is there. So so whenever I used to spend money on hotel or something, I mean it's you should make sure that the locality is residential. So there are not a lot of food outlets and not a lot of restaurant owners staying in there. uh, so again, I repeat, the title should be clear. By clear title means you should pay your stamp duty, and the previous documentation, the sale deed should be clear. If the previous stamp duty is not there, it doesn't mean that your title is not clear. Uh, by law, you could you could sue the society and the previous owners to make sure that the to confirm how they sold, they allowed such a thing without stamp duty clearance. But again, that happens when you really want to spend money and get things done. uh, because if this is not done, even if the stamp duty is not paid, some people or some faiths will come and some negative, if it has a demonic influence, then you could possibly get stuck in there. Though legally it is not an issue, but if the place has demonic influence, then yeah, then there's a possibility that you will face some internal disturbances because of partly unfilled documentation, which is of no which is because it's not of your fault, but somebody has done a mistake, and you have to pay for that. So and then are the people employed genuinely, or what types of businesses are they involved in? Are there any government interferences in the building? Like in my I mean, a lot of times, if uh, if the society or the department is close to government bodies, then there is a lot of government influence, directly or indirectly, because the government would not want those offices or residences to be occupied by uh, any rogue entities. So, for example, one of somebody I know has office close to the Mumbai police headquarters. So there's a lot of government influences over there. There are a lot of then where I'm staying is close to Indian Railways, and there's a BMC office. So of course, it's not generally it's not that bad, but it is better if there are least government interference buildings or office activities close to your place. And are the flats mostly generally people living in the flat, or it's those are invested flats or NRI flats where people have gone out of India and they are just investing and they are renting out the flats. So that is another thing, that it should not have rental flats, or it should not have it should not have I mean, ideally, it should not be investment properties, or and people should be generally staying in those flats. And sometimes, because a lot of, if the flats are rental flats, then a lot of rogue people come and buy the apartments, and they use it for work, and they use it for troubling people. For example, where I am staying, sometimes the flats are bought by people, I don't know, who stay away at awake at night, and at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and I don't know, by keeping their lights on, and what they do, I don't know, by 3, 4 o'clock, they sometimes they get various items from Swiggy, Zomato. I don't know. They get food, or they get what, I don't know. So if it is rental flats, a lot of rental flats are there in the society. Then there's a possibility of rogue apartments living in that, rogue people coming into that society and using that, because it may impact you, right? If you are a member of the society, if you have born and brought up, or if that is your only flat, then it will definitely impact you. Yeah, if you have many properties, if you're doing investment property, then you should not worry about that. But if you are going to live in that property, you should make sure that various things, various such things are taken. I mean, should be there. If it's a rental, lot of flats in India, in Bombay, are rental flats these days. So you really can't avoid it. But yeah, then you should see how many people are living in the society and doing work from home. A lot of businesses, they sit and half the life they do and sit and do work from home. So, I mean, are the people generally working and doing work from home, or what? Of course, this is cannot be easily known, but there's other factor. Of course, another things like noise pollution, water pollution. Water should come properly. In Bombay these days, there are a lot of water issues as well. Not all the places are lucky enough to have a good water supply. So where you are staying should have proper water supply. Uh, and uh, water supply means, and then nowadays, as people put water boosters also in the society, though that is illegal, and government does not do that. If the water booster is there, I mean, if you tell them, or 1 2% does not get water, they'll just put water booster. But yeah, so you should make sure water supply genuinely comes in the building, and the people are genuine above all. If 1 or 2% can are making noise, means there's dadagiri and hushari going on in those such apartments. You should stay away from such people and such buildings. Uh, uh, and of course, the members are the society committee members. Who are they? Are they around your age? Like I am. Are they like 70, 80 years old retired people? If they are 70, 80, 90 years old retired people in the committee and all that, then it was like your energy will be used for anything they do, even if they just sit in the office and do nothing, and then you push them, and your energy for everything you push them, and then your energy will be used in it. They will just sit and nicely sit and come in society and sit and do hushari and say that I'm looking after the society. I'm looking. You can't blame them. 70, 80 years old people. What will they look after the society? So, but that should is another thing, that society committee is, what is the age group of the society committee members? If they are 70, 80, 90 plus, and if they don't do anything, then you push them for everything, then you are going to get drained. So stay away from such societies where 70, 80, 90 people are society committee members and they don't wish to leave their seats. And again, if there are other people, you should make sure that people are genuine, or people are just in interested in selling your interest to redevelopment builders and all that. So another consideration is the society going for redevelopment or it is not going for redevelopment. If it is going for redevelopment, a lot of times people who have done lochas and gadbad in that building, they would want to sell that society for, or they have like 7 8 9 10 people, or they have then they would just want to sell that society to a redeveloper or a builder, and enjoy the benefits of the money that they get from the builder. And of course they should, last thing but not the least is how big is the parking space, how is there any playground, is there any other activities like uh, uh, children's swimming pool, or is there a uh, uh, garden, playground, what activities are there for children. Then around there, are there any schools in the building, in the area. What else? So yeah, these are some of the things that should be considered when buying a resale apartment. I hope this helps you in the future anytime.